what's up? Dave with Brazos Valley Strength. Today's video will be one that I think is somewhat controversial in the powerlifting world, and that is the usage of straps on deadlift. Now, I tend to fall in a category that I think is somewhat rare in the powerlifting world, where people kind of take a mixture of using grip strength and training your grip and actually using straps to hopefully get more out of your deadlift training. But the two main camps tend to be people that use straps all the time and kind of cheat how they're placing their hands on the bar and get a whole lot out of their deadlift, but really isn't applicable on the platform, and we see that time and time again. Or there's the people who just take this hardline stance and say you should never ever use straps, there's really no reason to, and I don't really think that that's really a productive thought either. So to start off with, what I want to say is that grip strength absolutely is a factor in the deadlift, right? If you can't hold on to the bar, if you can't lock it out because your grip is failing, you're not going to lock out you're not going to finish the deadlift. Your numbers will be limited. But if you're only making your training choices based on what your hands can handle, and a lot of times rep ranges and sets, and there's a lot of factors that could go in because your hands get beat up, sometimes the quality of your training is diminished because you're not allowing yourself to use a tool. So that's what I want to start off with. Training with straps is absolutely a tool that people should understand how to use them, when to use them, and really what we're looking for. So I'm going to talk about my training, how I recommend using straps for people, even heading into competitions. I'm 3 weeks out from a competition, and currently I'm only doing one rep, I guess, one set per week without straps, and I feel very, very good about where my grip is now. I've pretty much always, especially recently in the last few years, done this exact same training, is that I focus on my top sets, my singles, even just one single with my grip, and then move to straps for the rest of my training. So one of the biggest reasons that I do that is just the health of my hands. So if I go through a block, I'm 4 weeks out, or I have done 4 weeks of a block, I'm 2 weeks out from a competition, and I get a tear in my hands, that can seriously impact the rest of my training, and especially heading into the competition, my health of my hands is absolutely going to matter at the meet. So if my hands are torn up, if I have a big callus tear, I'm a week out from a competition and tear a callus, I could be in serious trouble of being able to perform on the platform just because my hands are torn. So I know the other side of that argument, though, is that if you never use straps, your grip may be a little bit stronger, and that you may lose less grip during a training, callus tears less. But I just don't know that that's something that we need to fight for all that much, as long as the top singles, the heaviest work, if we can hold those. So that's the first and strongest recommendation that I have here, is that if you're going to be using straps in training, you need to be doing other things to ensure that your grip is still ready to perform. And I think one of the biggest concepts that people miss is that I feel that grip strength is a lot less about strength and more about the skill and how to set your grip and be in a good position off the floor and trust that. And so one of the easiest ways to do this is to hold all of your warm-ups, and in particular, hold your top single for a long time at the top, right? 3 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe longer. It doesn't have to be super long, but just enough to feel very, very good about how you're setting the grip. And all your warm-ups, be deliberate about what you're doing and how to set your grip on the bar. And this is hook grip or mixed grip like I use. I have an old video on the old YouTube channel about the fingertip grip. Maybe I'll link that in the bio. Don't link the old channel too much, but anyway. With that one, talking about how just the grip being a skill is something that I think really, really matters for people, and taking that seriously. Now, after your top set, I think we do get into a situation to where, with the things that I recommend, with hanging the bar lower in your hands, kind of taking a bit of a looser grip, there's a chance that our grip can start to very much fatigue and our hands can start to be torn up. The risk with that, besides just your hands tearing, is that your technique changes based on you having to change your grip on the bar, kind of losing faith in the way that you're holding the bar. All of those kind of things will probably turn into worse deadlifts in general. And that's not really a trade-off that I really want to make if I'm sacrificing load and quality, where I could just use straps and let my grip hang a little bit more passively and relaxed and continue to have good training and train the rest of my body, the rest of my deadlift to improve significantly, that's the trade-off that I want to make. So last few competitions, I've done this every single time. I almost locked out that 840, whatever it was, having done only singles. And actually, a lot of my singles in training were failed kind of based on grip. The heaviest that I pulled was kind of a messy 360 heading into nationals, and then almost pulled that 383, and grip was not an issue. So going on that note, there are some things that we can do to actually train our grip and make the grip stronger without sacrificing deadlift strength. So I'll talk about that, but what I wanted to talk about here first was the best way to actually use the straps, because I see a lot of kind of, foolishness, I guess, in strap usage. So to start off with, these straps are just from Anderson Powerlifting. I'll put a link to these. It's nothing really, important. I don't think that the straps, the brand or anything really matters, but these have been a durable strap and they're flexible enough to be able to wrap them around the bar pretty easily. So I think that durability and comfort is kind of the only things that really matters with the straps. But one of the common things that people do very poorly when they're using straps, and I don't know why this is a thing because it seems intuitive my way, but is that they do one strap at a time, right? Is that you get one and you have all this extra strap and you wrap it around a bunch of times, have to use your other hand. Now you're stuck in a position to where you're trying to do this one, the bar is in a weird spot. And it just is very slow, throws off people's timing, and is totally unnecessary. So the easy way to do this, and you watch closely because it's really complicated. Well, maybe, I can be detailed with it. But take the straps, make sure that they're pulled pretty tight, right? So I usually pull the strap and then just hold it so it's fairly tight around my wrist. And I just don't want a lot of give. That's not super important, but just making sure that they're low on my hand and I have tension. From there, I'm gonna do both straps at once. So wherever your grip is, right, you kind of right at the knurl, I'm gonna start right there. Just take the strap, put it under the bar, reach around for the other side of the strap, loop it, grab the bar with my first two fingers, and I'm good to go. So that's an important point, is that when I'm using straps, I am still trying to replicate the grip the grip and the distance that I would normally use when I'm training without straps. So from here, you can see I'm still gonna be gripping the bar with my first two fingers, but my other two fingers are on top of the straps holding them into place, and then I'm locked in. This will give me good feedback as to what my position is generally off the floor. I'm not cheating. That's one of the major complaints, is that people wrap the straps a bunch of times, or they're just holding kind of fingertips, holding it super low, and they get into a position that they're not going to be able to replicate. So with this very, very easy version, you can very easily get your grip quickly, so it shouldn't mess with your rhythm. If it starts to slip a little bit, it's really easy. Both hands just kind of loop a little bit more. You just grab a little bit more of the bar, roll it, and we're tight again. So moving on to how I think the best way to train grip strength while you're using straps during your regular training, if you're feeling like it's an issue. I don't think that I need a bunch of extra work. There have certainly been times I've been frustrated with my grip and have added in these bar holds that I'll demonstrate, but I don't think that it's something that needs to be in there if you're having success without it, right? Like during this block, I'm doing no bar holds, but my singles feel very comfortable. My grip is being held a long time. I don't think the extra work and the extra risk of maybe beating up my hands is totally necessary right here. But this is something I actually picked up from, I think Hanny Gizzarelli told me, but anyway, Bryce Lewis and the Strength Athlete, I kind of picked this up from them and I tried it and I've had a lot of success with doing just these bar holds. So what I recommend people do is set up a bar in a power rack just below your lockout position. It should be low enough to where you actually feel like you have to leverage against the barbell and kind of reach so you can pull slack with your arms. And most importantly, set your grip like you normally would. Again, going into that aspect of the skill component of grip strength, right? So setting your grip against the barbell. If you're a conventional deadlifter, stand conventional. If you're a sumo deadlifter, stand sumo. We want to try to replicate it to where it still kind of has the same contact against your thighs and those kind of things, same positions on the bar. So this is something that is a lot less fun than you might think. So we do want the bar to be heavy. generally speaking, we're going for a few sets, 2-3 sets of 5 to 10 second holds. I generally try to choose something that's more than 5, less than 10, but kind of challenges me to where that if I can get to that 10 seconds consistently for all 3 sets, I should definitely be increasing the weight. But one of the most important things that I think is important that people know going in here is that this is intense. It should be a lot of work. If you're not genuinely feeling like your grip is very much challenged by the end of those 5-10 seconds, it's just not heavy enough. So it should be grip strength, right? We're not just trying to do just a rack pull. The goal is to challenge your grip and have it hang low and all that kind of stuff. Another benefit that I have found from this is some benefits, especially with sumo deadlifters, of that last little bit of lockout timing, to where sometimes people, sumo deadlifters in particular, can struggle at the top with the timing of clearing their knees, making sure their knees lock out first before leaning back. This timing can very much help recreate that you do have to lock your knees out and then lean back. Otherwise, the bar gets stuck on your legs and that creates some grip issues as well. So I think just adding these in once a week, it can be on a separate day, right? Your primary deadlift day, your hands may be tired already. You can do it on a separate day. Generally speaking, I would do it on my primary deadlift day, just as far as the way that I'm setting up my block structure. But this can very much help increase your grip strength very, very fast. I think there's diminishing returns. If you already have strong enough grip for the training that you're doing and you're doing singles, fantastic. You probably don't need it, but this is a good option to help pick up that slack. So as a final word here, I don't think that if you are having no issues currently with your deadlift, if your grip strength is currently fine, you haven't used straps, your hands aren't getting torn up, especially, younger, more novice lifters, I don't think that this is something that you need to switch to right away. But if you do find in training that at the back half of your sessions, if you're going through you have 4 sets of 5 and your last 2 sets of 5 are starting to be limited because of your grip, I think this should be a tool that you feel very comfortable adding in order to improve your training quality, improve output, and ultimately get yourself stronger. Some of my feelings are actually the opposite of what I think might be intuitive for people. I do think that people who have grip strength issues, particularly people who are, let's say heavier, somebody like with smaller hands or something like that, those people should probably be using straps more often than people who are naturally very good deadlifters and who don't really have grip strength issues. If you're consistently having grip strength issues, and if it's falling out of your hands and you're losing it, let's say you're pulling across your thighs, heavier people, whatever, if you're having issues there, then that for sure will detract from your overall training quality and overall training output in an effort to train something that I feel like we can train separately and is also impacted by many other things. So if we can keep your hands healthy, keep your grip fresh and non-fatigued, and we can train with a higher quality overall, then we're going to end up being stronger deadlifters because we cheated instead of just tried to take this hardline stance and not want to get made fun of or whatever for using straps. So if you're somebody who's currently struggling with grip, I would certainly recommend you taking a different approach, taking the opportunity to use straps and improve your output. But if you're currently not having issues, I don't think that it's something that should be an immediate change or need to be a change. But overall, this should just be a tool in your toolbox and something you should be able to apply to help take you to the next level. So if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.